So you remember a couple videos back when I basically explained to you that that new street takeover bill that North Carolina is trying to introduce would basically give police complete and total autonomy as far as their interpretation of what is considered a street takeover and what's not considered a street takeover. Well, that actually happened this weekend. Four Mopars, Dodge Charger RT, Dodge Challenger, a ScatPack, and a Dodge Challenger and a Dodge Charger Hellcat were shooting a music video behind a factory. Of course, they were swinging. Of course, they were doing some burnouts and donuts, not bothering anybody. Somebody saw them doing these burnouts and donuts, called the police. Police showed up, and guess what they did? Instead of just hitting the lights and telling them to roll out because it was behind a factory, they seized each and every one of those vehicles. All four of those Mopars got seized, and they called it a street takeover. Let me read it. Officers located multiple street meetups and observed several vehicles conducting street stunts, which led to the stops and seizures of four Dodge vehicles. Now, mind you, they were behind the factory shooting a music video, doing burnouts and donuts on a Saturday when the factory was closed, so nobody was there. But police consider that a street takeover. And under the new street takeover bill, when you start using words like stunts, drifting, donuts, that literally falls under make street takeovers unlawful. So if you plan on coming to North Carolina and doing a burnout, a donut, or some sort of vehicle stunt, that's considered a street takeover for which they can seize your car and take your ass to jail. Yeah, it's getting real out here. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video, man. So you can tell I'm in a car that makes us a car blog. You don't know what's going down when I come around. Let's get into it. Car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around because you are in the right place. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. I'm going to try to do this video in one take before I start sweating because it's hot as hell. So street takeover, make street takeovers unlawful, which is a bill that's currently being decided on in North Carolina. I don't think it's finally been decided on and passed, but essentially they're trying to stop all things fun in the car meet world. Now, you know me, like I've said in my previous videos, I hate street takeovers. If you decide to take over an intersection, a highway, you're an idiot and you deserve the full penalty of the law. And once you get caught, like I hope you get caught. You know, if you're impeding traffic and you're slowing people from getting to A to B, you deserve, you know, the full penalty of the law. I'm behind that 100%. Taking over intersections, streets, highways, you deserve it. You feel me? But not all of this is considered street takeovers, but according to the bill, anything can be considered a street takeover, which is where it gets crazy and scary at the same time. Because under the Make Street Takeovers Unlawful bill, right? Burnout is considered a street takeover. Donut, drifting, being present, being a spectator is considered a street takeover. Doing a wheelie, so if you're driving a motorcycle or like a four-wheeler, and stunt driving. Stunt driving literally describes everything that I just described individually under one word: a burnout, donut, wheelie, drifting, or other dangerous motor vehicle activities. Well, this weekend, Mopar's in North Carolina. See, I'm already sweating. I'm not gonna make it. Listen, guys, it's summertime, and I don't burn my air while I'm doing these videos, but during this past weekend, Mopars were shooting a music video, a rap music video, and they were doing it behind a factory on a Saturday, so the business was closed. Nobody was at the factory. They wasn't bothering anybody. They was way in the back. They were doing burnouts and donuts. Let's keep it 100. That's what they do. That's what we do as a Mopar community. Burnouts and donuts. They wasn't tearing up anybody's equipment or anything like that. Somebody observed them doing the burnouts and donuts and did what? They called the police. Police show up, didn't ask any questions. Officers observed multiple street meetups. Now, these are street meetups, not street takeovers. So they're not stopping in the middle of W.T. Harris or Independence Boulevard or 485 and doing a takeover. They're just meeting up. Officers observed multiple street meetups and observed several vehicles conducting street stunts. Now, stunts, according to the bill, is a burnout, donut, wheelie, drifting, or other dangerous motor vehicle, which is considered a street takeover. Conducting street stunts, which led to the stops and seizures of four Dodge vehicles. One was a RT Charger, ScatPack Challenger, V6 Challenger, and the one that hurt the most, a 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat. All four of those cars were seized. Notice they said seizures, not impounded. Impounded is when you get a DUI on a Friday and they impound your car Friday and you pick it up Monday morning after obviously you've sobered up and, you know, you've gone through the proper process. Seizure, however, means we're taking this as a larger part of an investigation. You may get it tomorrow or you may get it a year from now. But either way, it's ours at that point. According to the Instagram page, CMPD takes these activities very seriously because they affect citizen safety and quality of life. In this particular instance, they were behind a factory shooting a music video. It wasn't a street takeover. They wasn't taking over any streets, intersections, highways, nothing like that. They were swinging behind a factory shooting a music video. This weekend, street takeover, hashtag street takeover incidents, including racing on 485. So now racing is considered street takeover. Vehicle stunts, careless/reckless behavior, were made aware of events and responded where law enforcement actions were taken. 4 vehicles were seized as evidence this past weekend. Evidence, which means you're not getting your car back anytime soon. Once they take something from you and it's considered evidence, like if you've ever been in I was literally just made aware of this last night. One of my homeboys got in a situation where his car was stolen, and at the time that his Hellcat or his Charger was stolen, he left his gun in the car. Well, long story short, when they found the car, the gun was gone. And they eventually arrested the guy that stole the car. The guy was a part of a bigger ring of thefts. The guy had his gun on him at the time. They took his gun and they booked it in as evidence. My homeboy still hasn't gotten his gun yet. And that's been almost 2-3 months ago. The detective basically said that he might get his gun in 3 months or a couple years. So the same thing can be said for these cars that are part of evidence. They can be received or picked up in a couple days or a couple months, maybe not ever. You know what I mean? But that's what it is, guys. This past weekend was a bad one for Mopars. They're not playing around. And currently right now, they're running a speed operation. And yesterday, another very successful speed operation by the Motors unit, 110 citations, 84 stops. 110 citations, and out of those citations, I guess 84 of them, or no, I take that back, 84 stops resulted in 110 citations. So out of the 84 people that got pulled over, they gave 110 citations to those people. So it looks like some of those people probably received multiple citations: speeding, tint, expired, driver's license, expired, tag, all that stuff. So, I mean, that's the problem with this whole street takeover bill. As much as I support it, as far as killing street takeovers and getting rid of the street takeover culture, it's one of those things where everything is left up to interpretation. If I were to do a burnout right now in my car, that's considered a form of street takeover, for which they can seize my car as part of evidence and never give it back, or give it back whenever they choose. Drifting, being a spectator, being present. So if you're just there. But the bill would make driving in a street takeover an A1 misdemeanor, which is the most serious misdemeanor in North Carolina law. An A1 misdemeanor. That's just as bad as, I don't know, having a concealed firearm in your car and you don't have a concealed license, putting your hands on somebody, something of that sort, something of that measure. The most serious misdemeanor in North Carolina law, punishable by a mandatory $1,000 fine. A second offense within 2 years would be a felony. You're getting a felony charge for being a part of a street takeover. So if you get knocked the first time, you get the A1 misdemeanor, which is the most serious of all misdemeanors in North Carolina. If you get popped the second time, in 2 years, it's a felony, and it would be double the value of the vehicle seized. So we talked about that in a video recently, that, in order for you to get your car back, it would essentially be a felony and double the value of the car. So if you bought a $100,000 Hellcat and it's still worth $100,000, in order for you to get it back, $200,000 to CMPD. Nobody's paying that, so of course that car is gone. Like this right here, this is not a street takeover. This is burnouts and donuts behind a factory. That's all this is. This is not street takeover, street anything. They're not taking over anything. This is just burnouts and donuts behind a factory. Literally as safe as you can make it. You know what I'm saying? Aside from it being sponsored by Dodge or NASCAR. Like, this is about as safe of an environment as we get. behind a factory on a weekend when nobody's there, that's when you do burnouts on donuts. That everything is considered a street takeover. Burnout, donut, drifting, doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter where you are. At first, I thought, okay, if you're in the street, I get that. If you're in the intersection, I get that. Highway, I get that. Now, it's considered a takeover if you're behind a abandoned building or a factory. You know, anywhere, it's considered a street takeover. So, I mean, that's what we're dealing with down here in North Carolina, man. But I'm sure it's coming to a city or state near you. You know what I mean? Because they're taking leaps and strides at shutting down this type of behavior. And unfortunately, it's affecting all of us. So it's been your boy Knockout 360. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Y'all stay safe. Peace.